Good morning. It is 7 a.m. on Friday, uh, July 7th. I'm Sensei Mish, and it is morning tea with me. So, um, reason I'm coming on so early is because, again, I have a Q show, or not a Q show. I have a lightsaber camp going on today that starts at 10. So I figure why not just stream when I'm actually having my tea. So, of course, I didn't write anything down of what I wanted to talk about, so I've got it in my brain. Let's see if I can remember. The first thing that I'm really excited about is remember back. Let's see, May 1st. Let's go all the way back to May 1st. So this is 2 months. It's been 2 months that I've been dealing with this. I had I think I told you guys the story. I had representatives from a local credit card processing company. They were based in Vancouver, but they were, nationwide. They dealt with nationwide companies based in Vancouver. And they were like, hey, we want to help you save some money. And I told them, sure, under two conditions. I don't want to pay any monthly payments at all. And what was it? And the other one was like, your software has to work with my website software. I'm not changing software. So your gateways have to be. Anyway, so they got me set up really quick, or they started the setup really quick. And very early on, within like the first week, maybe the second week, within 10 days, I realized that there were going to be monthly payments. And these gals that stopped in on the first day, no monthly payments. Even on the contract, it even said $49 for this one thing. Nope, that is worked in. You're not going to pay anything monthly. Okay. So, so anyway, so we have, I basically tell them, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not continuing the process. You misled me. You lied to me. I'm returning the hardware. And mainly because I had found out that on day 10, on May 10th, I was charged $55 for for basically a rental fee. It was like $53 and change. So I was charged basically $49 plus tax. And I was like, absolutely not. So, and the gateway that was the only gateway that they worked with that was compatible with my software had a monthly fee. So I was like, no, we're done. We're done. So I tell the gal on the phone, hey, this is what's going on. I am not I'm not playing your games. I had two conditions. You couldn't provide service under those conditions. So I'm done. So, so I return the hardware, no contact. Like I don't receive any emails, as promised. Cause she said, oh, I'll send this up the chain. You'll get an email. The guy that I gave the hardware to, I'll contact customer service, no email. Or, we'll send you an email, no emails, no phone calls. So I then send her an email reiterating everything, this is what we had talked about. Here you go. Nothing, zero. Then I get a letter from the company that I'm leasing stuff from. And so I give them a call and I tell them the story that these people lied to me and misled me. And the gal's like, okay, well, we'll send you some paperwork to fill out. So I fill out the paperwork. I sent them a whole like my answers to questions 1 and 2 on their misrepresentation questionnaire basically was 4 pages typed. So, because I did not want any like it totally went back to the days of working security and writing those detailed incident reports. So I send them everything, including the quote sheet that they had given me in house. And I see people up here. Here, if you can, say hi. Anyway, so I had talked about it on here many weeks ago, and somebody suggested the Better Business Bureau, and I was like, okay, well, if I have to use that, I'll go there. So, I still don't hear anything. And then I get charged the next month. What is it? Jason, how are you, sir? So then I get charged $88 from the service, the leasing company. And I was like, okay, so I know, like in the directions of the questionnaire, it's basically like the lease stands, the contract stands, because I was stuck in this non-cancelable contract, even though the company couldn't provide me service with this rental thing. Third party. Good morning, Rob. How are you, sir? So anyway, so I get stuck in this thing. Month 2, I get a phone, June 10th, something like that. I get this bill, or I get this charge, $88 from the same company. So I call and I'm like, hey, I understand that, everybody that I talked to at this leasing company, super nice, very helpful. The first person I talked to could have been more helpful, because the last person I talked to was extremely helpful. But anyway, that continues the story. So anyway, so I call and I'm like, what is this $88 for? I mean, I understand that the contract still stands until a decision is made. I know you guys have received my paperwork. I've gotten confirmation of that. So the gal's like, well, there's the equipment fee, and then there's a processing fee and taxes. And I'm like, but wait, I haven't processed anything. Gerald, sir, how are you? But I'm like, I haven't processed anything. I was kind of dumbfounded. I was like, I don't understand. So I talked to, I'm like, and she's like, well, that's just the base processing fee. So the monthly fee for, what was it? The monthly fee for AuthorizeNet, or Authorize.net, I think, was a $12 fee, regardless if I used it, regardless, if the processing fees wouldn't have come out of the $12 or paid for the $12, is just a flat fee, regardless if I use it. Okay. So then, but the hardware had a processing fee that, regardless if it was used or not, I had to pay for it. That's good. Oh, hey, yes, I saw that. So if anybody is in the Jacksonville area, Gerald is hosting Bruce Chu and Chad. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Anyway, 2 really great martial artists and very talented stick people. Chad Bailey. Thank you. it was there. I've met Chad, very talented people. So there you go. Yes, it is early. So, what was I saying? Oh yes. So $88 charge. So I decide I'm going to go to, and apparently they still have a few spots open. So go check them out. All right. Anyway, so we have I go to Better Business Bureau. I just check them out just to see what it's like. See, are they a member? What's their rating? Anyway, oh my gosh, this company, not the leasing company, but the credit card service company. Holy cow. They have they don't have, well, let's see. They do have some positive comments, but they have a lot of negative comments. And so I left a negative comment. And then I realized I could file a complaint. And I mean, it wasn't evident like right away, but I was able to file a complaint. So I submitted pretty much a minorly edited version of what I sent the leasing, the machine leasing company, because it was more the way I wrote it to the machine leasing company it was directed towards them. So I had to edit it so it was a little bit more general, like this is just what happened. So instead of like saying you, I had to put in the company name and all that kind of stuff. And wow. And one of the reasons I did that is because for every complaint that was put in there, the company responded. For every comment that was left, the company responded. And I'm like, this company hasn't responded to me for anything. Like, they are ignoring me. So I get on there and I do my thing. And lo and behold, a week later, the company's like, we're so sorry you had this experience and canceled us mid-flight. Now, your contract is with another company. And so they, the money that they've already taken out of your account, you have to deal with them. But we will put in for a cancellation of your contract, and everything should be good, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, this could have been done like a month ago. Like it could have been handled a whole month earlier. So I accepted their terms. And when you go through this process, you submit your thing, and then you basically get an email from Better Business Bureau that says, hey, the company responded, check out their response. And then you actually can basically accept the resolution or deny it, and then ask for more. And I'm knowing that I was already working with this other company. I was just going to and that they were going to put in for a cancellation of the contract, that I was good. So I was like, okay, I'll just accept I'll accept the resolution. And then you then have a section to be able to respond. And there's a canned response. It just says, I accept. And then some other verbiage. So I put in, it's like, I accept. It's like, however, it really would have been easier if, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was to the tune of, I'm glad that these tools are available from Better Business Bureau, and it's sad that I had to use them, because if the company was an upstanding company in the first place, they would have handled this directly with me and not having to go through a third party overseer that to make them look bad. So yeah, it was so I won. Now, when it comes to getting my money back, I don't know if I'm going to get my money back. They've taken 53 plus 88, so $140. That's almost a student. That's almost one student, a 2-day student. So it's like, I would like to get that money back, but I didn't want to pay any more money to this company. So I accept the resolution and I call this company and I'm like, hey, I just, I haven't heard anything from you guys. I know you guys have gotten my paperwork. I haven't gotten a phone call or any email or anything by mail saying, hey, this is what's going on. I said, I have dealt with Better Business Bureau and this other company, and they are going to support my request for a cancellation of contract. So like, I'm getting this at two sides. So I ended up, so the gals and I said, but I don't want to pay you any more money. Like, I don't want you to continue taking money out of my account because I know that, there's going to be billing. So anyway, and the gal's like, well, the only reason we're taking money out of your account is because you're on auto pay. We can change that. And I'm like, really? I didn't even know that was an option. So she's like, now you will probably get phone calls, until the resolution is resolved. Until the resolution is resolved, you might get phone calls from us. You might get a bill from us saying, hey, you owe us money. And I was like, oh, I can totally dodge those. Like, I have no problem dodging those. Like, I'm good. I just don't want any more. I don't want to take any more. I don't want you to take any more of my money, because I told her, I said, and this is what I told the gal at the credit card processing company. It was, I told her, I said, I am willing, like, this is how far I'm willing to go. I am willing to close all of my business accounts and reopen them so you can't take any more money out of my account. Like, I was that serious. And I even told the girl, I was like, I don't want to have to close my accounts and open new ones because I'm willing to do that. I don't want any more of my money. And she's like, well, sir, you don't have to do that. Why would you do that? We can just bill you. And then, of course, when it is resolved and, the bills will go away. I was like, seriously? Like, that's an option? So I half won. I half won. I'm working on the other half. So I'm very excited about that. That was actually news from last week that I just never got to. So I wanted to share that with everybody. Very excited about that. Rob says, I had to file with Better Business Bureau against the company that installed my pool after they ran over my AC unit, agreed to reimburse after it got fixed, and then they said we paid too much, so they weren't going to pay at all. Between BBB and an attorney friend, we got it resolved. Well, that's good. Jeez. Well, here's hoping that all that works. Sorry you got screwed. Well, it's funny. When it's weird how they're listening. Like, how you go on Amazon and you buy something, and then that something ends up, like, you start getting email, like, say I bought a digital projector. Okay. I bought a digital projector, used some of my royalties to buy. I had one. I had like one of those big Christie ones. But but it just, technology's old. I wanted a newer one. So I got a new one. Amazon sends me emails. Oh, hey, what about this digital projector? Or what about this? It's not just something I looked at, it's something I bought. I'm on Facebook. Oh, hey, by the way, here's a digital projector. No, I already bought one. Why? Like, I don't, yeah. So, and like when we bought our house originally, I got a mortgage and I bought the house. And then I started getting all of these phone calls from mortgage companies. Oh, hey, we saw that you got a mortgage. Do you want a mortgage? No, I already got one. This credit card company stops in, I get the process going, and now I'm getting phone calls from all over the place. Oh, yeah, we're a credit card service processing. We have somebody in the area and they like to talk to you. I'm like, no. What? And even during this process, okay, now my number is connected to Handworker Martial Arts, previous name of Artisan, and I actually got a call from Riverside Payments. That's the company that I've been fighting with. You can go on to Better Business Bureau, put in Riverside Payments, Vancouver, Washington. Fuck, man, you'll get a kick out of people that they screwed over. Anyway, so I get a call. I think I mentioned this too. I get a call from them for Handworker Martial Arts because it's the same number. And some guy, I was like, oh, did you know that you work for an unethical company? I have another business attached to the same number. Oh my God. The guy's like, dude, I just work here. I mean, oh my God, I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't. Anyway, totally. The guy was just like, who did I call? Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was that. And even like this phone call yesterday for this credit card company, I was like, look, I'm very happy with who I use. And like, I've gotten phone calls before and I'm like, dude, stop calling. Like, actually I could probably retire if I knew the process of getting these companies to, because the same company calls. It's a couple different companies. They call me all the time. And I know that there's a process that I could go through to report them and have them pay because but I don't know if that's personal or business. I'm not sure. Anyway, I haven't really looked into it, but normally I'm like, look, I'm very happy with the processor. I don't want to, and I'm very polite. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. So let's just end the call. Thank you for calling. Have a nice day. Oh, remove me from your call list. This guy yesterday, he would not stop talking. I'm like, look, I already decided to go with another company and they screwed me over. So I am still with my original company. I am not willing to change. There is nothing that you can do. There's nothing you can say that, and the guy's like, well, we can work with your software. And I'm like, look, let me tell you this. There is only one gate. I said, there's only one other gateway that's compatible with my membership software, and it charges a monthly fee. So I can guarantee you that you will not be able to provide me service the way that I want. And the guy's like, oh, well, what about this? And what about this? I'm like, nah, sorry, dude. That just like, yes, I would love to save money. In fact, Brandon Beliso, there's a company out there, My Studio, and I've seen like, Professor Beliso talks about it, all the different things that they do. And I know other schools that use this software, like amazing. Like it would really, really help keep me better organized when it comes to, especially as I get bigger, for student counts and all that kind of stuff. But I actually get a better credit card rate through Stripe than I would through this other company. and you have to pay a monthly fee. Now, plus I don't pass on those credit card fees to my clients. I don't, that's, to me, I see that as nickel and diming. That's why that's why my fees are so high, is because I absorb that. So it's just like, this is how much it is. So it is not that plus tax or plus whatever it is. And even when we had to charge tax, I was like, okay, it's just going to be $110 because that $10 covers the taxes. So I don't know. I don't like paying monthly payments. I just don't. I just cannot stand it. Now, maybe when I get really, like, I have hundreds of students and I can afford the $100 a month that allows me to get a smaller percentage taken off of my credit card processing, maybe then, but not now. I don't know. Yeah, targeted ads are ridiculous. I'll send you a message or a deep tissue massage that Amazon recommended for me after I bought a TENS unit pad for my pack. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, and I totally get it. I understand targeted ads. I get it. Like, in a way, I tried to do it myself, especially when I had shirts and other stuff. But the thing is like, if I already bought the product, there's no reason to sell me on another one. That's, yeah. It's like, oh, especially with Amazon, it should be like, oh, you bought that product? Oh, okay. No worries. We won't, now if they're listening with their phones, yeah, sure. They'll, sell me a product that I haven't bought yet. Try and sell me on that. That's fine. Anyway, that's just my morning rant. But the tea is good. Let's see. Update on Jim's book. So I have not. We've gotten to the point where I ordered proofs. Jim got his proof, and his brother Dwayne got his proof as well, because Dwayne is helping in some editing. And I get my proof tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, and Jim just sent me 23 photos. More pics. Okay, good. So he loves the book. I told him, go through the book, and if there's more photos that you want in there, we can add them in. And then you can say, I want it, just say, I want it on this page, or I want it on, or I want it with this country, because he's got, I don't know, 20 countries in there. I think this book is 264 pages so far. And the cover turned out fantastic. So anyway, we are so ahead of where I wanted to be, because we were thinking the original plan is start pre-sales sometime in August and then unveil the book at his camp. And of course I wanted to unveil the book at his camp because then you you got to give at least 3 weeks for shipping, all that kind of stuff, especially from Amazon to the whatever you call it. And I said, we could actually speed up the process. Like, we could start pre-sales next week. And then do like a 3-week pre-sale, and then just make it go live. And then, if people want you to sign it, they'll just have to pay for shipping. They'll just, because they'll just ship it. And, if people want to wait until the camp, then we can do that. We'll have books at the camp just in case. But for the most part, this is how it is. And he's like, do it. So I get my book next week, and I open my phone to check my Amazon just to see if it's still en route, because I know, Prime Day. Let's see, orders. It should be arriving by 10 tomorrow. So let's see, where is it now? Oh my gosh. Potentially it could actually arrive today, because it arrived in Portland at 5 this morning. So potentially I could get it today. That's really exciting. Yeah, so potentially I could, but not going to worry about it. It's in Portland. I'll get it by tomorrow. So anyway, so once I take a look at it, I'll have a definite date on when it will start for pre-sale, and then we'll be able to unveil the cover and the title, and with these pictures, man, add those pictures in there. The book will be thicker. Yeah. So, but Jim is very, he's very, very happy with the book. Dwayne really likes it. He hasn't really had a chance to take a look at it, but he's just like, oh my gosh. I am really looking forward to it. But it's so funny. So I know, like, these are Jim's stories. I'm essentially acting as a ghostwriter. So, but it's really Jim and others. And so on the title, I have Jim's name. It's just basically James Corn, or James E. Corn, or whatever, as the author. And he's like, and then on the inside, like not on the first title page, but the second title page, I have his name, my name, and Jana's name. Jana actually ended up taking the picture that ended up on the cover, and it's beautiful. Like, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So, so I said, well, my name is on the second title page, so you don't have to, don't worry about it. Like, and he's like, and he was very insistent. No, this should be James E. Corn with Mish Handworker. He says, I want your name on the front cover. And he says, because I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. And I appreciate that. There's other people that could have done it. I don't know if how it would obviously look different, but so anyway, so I have to make that change. But it's yeah, it's going to be this is going to be awesome. Nice thick book with extra pictures, and we're still waiting for one more story. We're probably looking at, I don't know, another 10 pages, so maybe 175 pages or 275 pages. This could be a nice book. So I'm thinking probably about $25 for the book. It's a 6x9. And so it's a nice, like, all the books that I've put out are 6x9, except for my neck pinch book. That was a 4x7 or 4x, anyway, it was a little bit smaller, but so it's going to be that size, and it's going to be nice and thick. So it's going to be so cool. Good morning, Garrett. Morgan. My brain is flipping all over the place. Anyway, so good morning. I will see you in a few hours. So I really need help with my book. Yes, we have talked about that. So, yeah. And then let's see. What else? Yeah. So classes are going fine. Okay. So when I used to work at the hospital, there was a period of time where I rode my bike to work, and it would be a combination. I'd ride my bike. It would be a bike, and then I would take the train, basically between Max and my bike. And then sometimes, especially like when I worked, swing shift, like Max no longer, and sometimes Max would run that late, but getting off, say I would do like 4 hours over, I do a half shift, a little bit of overtime at 2 a.m, like Max is not running. So I'd have to bike all the way home. This maybe a 15-mile ride, riding across the bridge from Oregon into Washington. And there is, on both bridges, I would usually take the 205 bridge. There is a dedicated lane secure from traffic. So I'm used to riding bikes, and I've had this bike for 20 years probably. And so it'd been a while since I rode it, and I got it out, and I fixed the brakes on it, and I did everything. And then I realized, there was, I also bought a gear guard, because it, sometimes it would unravel and then come off and get all tangled up in the pedals. So I got that because that had broken. So I got that. And then I realized and it's funny because I got the wrong size. So I was going to order a second one, but I got the brakes fixed, did it all myself. And I realized that the rear wheel wouldn't engage. So the rear wheel with the gears just free flows in both directions. So I couldn't actually ride the bike because it's nice and sunny. I'm looking at other ways to get exercise and save some money at the gas tank, because even though we made the mistake of putting gas in our cars right before the 4th of July, at Costco it's $4.55 a gallon, and at the Chevron on the corner it's $4.99 for regular. And so I'm just like, holy cow. So I'm like, okay, I want to save some gas. And so I was like, okay. So Costco had a bike for $200, and it actually ended up being a 7-speed, which I'm not doing like any super long distance. The school is 4 miles, like 3 miles away. It's going up a very slight hill. So I'm good. $200. I had enough money. And really $200, if I can, save that much, then, like that's 3 tanks of gas. So, anyway, so I get my bike, I ride, I think it was like, I don't know, 80 some degrees. It was fine. I got to the school, I got to back. I survived my first ride. And then, I think that was on the 3rd. And so the school, we closed the school on the 4th. We just kind of hung out at the house, just, watch TV and grilled some bacon wrapped chicken on the barbecue. And then so the next day it's like 90 some degrees. So Wednesday it was like 90 some degrees, and my wife was like, okay, you're not riding your bike in this weather. I'm like, I just bought the bike. She's like, you're not riding the bike in this weather. So I didn't ride on Wednesday, and yesterday it was not as hot, but it was already kind of too late by the time I was working the project that I was working on for the school. I just sitting here too long. It ended up, I was like, I didn't want to have to take the time to get out the bike to go up there. So I didn't bike yesterday. I'm not going to bike today because I'm going to have the kids at the school, and I just want an extra car there just in case anything happens. So far I've bought this bike. I've only ridden it once, but and it was great because it takes me, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to drive to the school, just with the stoplights and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes maybe 8 minutes. It only took me 15 minutes to get from my house to the school on a bike. And I actually was stopped at stoplights. So it's really not that bad. I was actually kind of, happy with myself. So I just need to start leaving the house. Now, dealing with this heat though, I'm getting ready for Bram's camp coming up. We're 2 weeks out. Bram will be here in less than 2 weeks. He arrives Tuesday. Less than 2 weeks. And I'm thinking about the heat. I'm going to think about him not getting any younger, and me. I enjoy the sun. I enjoy the heat, but it's just been so dry. I don't know. And maybe I always love having this camp because I have it here at the house, got a huge backyard. Yeah, I know, 2 weeks. So, and when I think about other, how I think about other, the other people that show up. Like one year, it was so hot on Saturday that one of the guys actually could not come back on Sunday because he had mild heat stroke, and he's just like, I want to come, but he says, I got so sick yesterday from the heat. So, and that's July. That's what July happens. And there's some time, like one year it was very overcast. It was very overcast. So, and it was 80s. And so it was a very pleasant camp, but it's not looking like it's going to be that way. And yes, I actually do have misting lines. I can hook that up, and it's not like we just have this open backyard. I have tents up, and I have, what is it? I have, I have, what's it called? I have these sunshades that I hang off the house that, go from the house to the fence. And I was actually thinking about extending it from I have 2 sets coming off of one side, or maybe it's 3 sets. And I was thinking about having another set go out over off the other corner. So I've got this corner of the house where we have the tent where Bram teaches. And anyway, and I have, everybody who knows Harvey, he burns. He just steps out into the sun and he burns. Not that he's a vampire, but he is a ginger. So, that's a thing. And so I'm thinking I'm just going to have it at the school. And basically for air conditioning, for comfort. We are supposed to have guests. We have 24 people signed up. And so, but I think it should hold. And so we've already talked about lunch. Lisa and Alexa will be delivering lunch. There will be, hopefully by the time the school opens, this little area that was out front will actually have like a slate. Um, it'll actually be slate, so I can, we can have a little table out there people can sit on in front. Then there's in back, we can sit in the back of the school, outside, out the back door, and then there's a grassy area with trees that people can, so there's, I think that there will be enough places for to make people comfortable. And then of course we'll have the barbecue on Saturday here at the house. That won't change. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know if I'm just getting older and I just don't enjoy the insane heat. Harvey can burn in moonlight if it's bright enough. Oh my gosh, that is so true. Let's see. Yeah, Morgan, I'm thinking of some sort of slip and slide sparring gauntlet mid-seminar water balloon fight. Okay. Morgan, let's see. Rob says, Morgan, it's a great idea. How to knife fight at a water park training. Oh my gosh, that's, yeah. Hey, you can always make it, make it interesting. And, we will be out in the open, at least the 12 people like Bobby and Jason and a few others. We will be out in the open. We'll be at the beach on Wednesday, and we'll be in Maryville or Mary Hill on Thursday. But I don't know. Maybe I should just set up the backyard just in case. But I'm really kind of going in the direction of it's going to be at the school. So, I think the mat is big enough. I think I have enough space. My concern was just, how are people going to eat? And I don't mind if people eat on the mat, if they're careful. Think about, if they want to sit outside, they can sit outside. But I just want this to be, I don't want people to overheat. Plus, at the same time, I don't want my school just to be empty. Like it'll be empty for 5 days. And I don't want that. So if we have people, if they see people training, they can see people training, and they can even stop in and say hi. So, plus, it's, I don't know, it's more professional. I love my school. I love my house, but Lisa always kind of cringes. She's like, oh, do people have to really be here? It's like, sometimes, yes. But yeah, absolutely. And that was totally the thing. People training in the school is a good visual marketing. Absolutely. So, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm going. Haven't made the exact final decision yet, but if you're coming, I will, you're going to get an update email. This is where we're going to be. I will post it on the event page. Like it won't be, it won't be, and actually some people actually showed up at the school thinking it was at the school last year and not coming to my place, because when you put in artists and martial arts in Google or in maps, what comes up? It comes up on Mill Plain. Tom, hello, sir. Hey, we've got less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you. So, and I've been working on I've been finalizing the itinerary for for the extra 2 days for day 1 and day 2 for our excursion. So each day is going to be an early start because it's like a 2.5-hour drive to the beach, and it's about a 2-hour drive to Mary Hill from Vancouver. So we'll be getting an early start. So we've been trying to figure out how to make that feasible and get everybody, kind of on the same page. 3 a.m. No, actually for you, since you are on the East Coast and will be here, I figure we'll meet at the school at 7, which is really 10 your time. So, so for the people coming from the East Coast, meeting at 7 shouldn't be a problem. I figure we meet at 7, leave at 7:30. And then that'll get us out there at, say, we get to the beach at 10, and then we have 3 hours of training. We have lunch. We go back out on the beach, have 2 more hours of training, and then we come home. And then we have dinner at my place, like pizza and a movie, that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's kind of the plan for day 1. So yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. One of those things when it comes to running camps, like I really enjoy hosting people and throwing seminars, hosting seminars and promoting them and doing all that kind of stuff. I used to get really nervous. Bram, not so nervous with him anymore. The first couple I was kind of nervous, but I'm not really nervous doing a camp. And that's just, are people going to come? Are people going to pay? Like this one, I'm not nervous at all. Like, we had 12 people prepay for their gig. And then we have other people coming who've already prepaid. So, it's going to be a good amount of people. But I will be so glad when it's over. At the same time, like I'm excited to see all my friends. I'm excited to train. I'm excited to this is going to be a fantastic event. But when it's over, man, because this has consumed my life. And it's so life consuming the closer and closer and the closer and closer it gets. And I'm so excited for it. But usually when it's over, I'm just like, oh, it's over. Yes. So it's like those projects that you do, like you're so excited for them. Like Jim's book. Jim's book is going to be I'm so excited that it's coming out, and he is too. But at the same time, we're just like, it's almost done. We're almost finished. So yeah. So that's just the way of life. Warren Young. Let's see. I know what you mean. I was so nervous the first Jack Hogan seminar I did in, how do you pronounce that? Is it Titusville? Titusville? I can't pronounce things for shit. Yes. Like especially when you're like, I got to pay this guy. Titusville. Oh, they're okay. Titusville. Okay. All right. So that's a good reference, but I haven't read the Bible in like 20 years. So I'll have to admit that. Anyway, so what is it? What was I saying? But yeah, especially that first seminar, or not necessarily the first especially the first seminar you do, but the first seminar with somebody new, the first time I hosted Mark Klein, I was nervous, but I wasn't, because it was one of those where, he and I had chatted online, and he was like, so when are you going to bring me out? I'm like, dude, I can't afford you. I can't afford you. And he's like, well, He's like, just, pay for my flight, and then, make sure you get paid back for that. And then after that, we'll just, whatever, we'll work it out. It's all about creating relationships, right? And so, I paid him. We had more than enough people that showed up to pay his flight. Of course, I didn't know him that well, so I put him up in a hotel. My nervous thing is that, like, he left after paying for his flight and paying for his hotel. Like, he left with like $100, because he was like, just make sure that those are paid and we'll go from there. And I was like, oh crap, is he ever gonna come back? And he was like, I can't wait. He says, I had so much fun, I can't wait for next time. So and so that was like, that kind of put me more at ease. The first time I did Bram's thing, like, it's so funny because Bram always had his birthday camp for the longest time in Vancouver, BC, which is about 7 hours north of me. And maybe 6 hours north. I can't remember, but way up there. Not way up there, but way up there. And I always wanted to go. And then when he stopped having them there, I was like, ooh, I could do them. And so I thought about it for a long time. And so his 65th was coming up. So this is camp number 6 I've put on. But that first camp, man, I was like, he's like, got to pay his first class ticket. He said, don't, like, we had already built a relationship. So, like, he was just concerned about a place to stay and his ticket. And of course me, so I got him a hotel, got him his plane ticket, which was really expensive. And then got him, and then basically paid his food. Well, afterwards, after everything was said and done, he left with like $2,000 from his first one. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't, he's like, I can't believe that, like, I can't believe this. So I always try and save some money. So Bram, when Bram comes, he stays at my house. When Mark comes, he stays at my house. I'd love to have Mark back out here. It's been a long time since he's been back out here. I'd love to have Jim out. I think that having Jim Korn out, I would love to have him back out here. Yeah. Let's see. Northline. Is that supposed to be Mark Klein? He is funny. Did he teach you the secret hidden instructor techniques? He did. I heard that story long ago. All right, sir. See you in 2 weeks or less. Now I figured that it was supposed to be Mark Klein. I heard about that story shortly after it happened, where what it was like it was on T-shirts. So, but yeah, no, he told me about that, and I still use that today. What about the flowered bridge? Have you heard about the flowered bridge? If you say flowered bridge in Cantonese, it is it's something that I shouldn't say because I know kids watch, or sometimes kids watch. But I think, let's see, in Cantonese, flowered bridge, I think it's pronounced fa q. Now, this is really funny because I think this was like the first or second time Klein was here. We had the seminar, and then we went to a friend of mine's restaurant in Gresham. And my friend is Chinese, and he speaks both Mandarin and Cantonese. Maybe it's Mandarin that Flowered Bridge is pronounced that way. But anyway, so so we called David over, and Mark's like, he says, "Oh, Cantonese or whatever it is," and he's like, "Yeah," and he says, "So say Flowered Bridge," and so he says Flowered Bridge, and we just start all busting up laughing, and he's like, "That's what's so funny about that," and so he says, "No, say it again." As you said, saying, we all just bust up laughing. He says, "I don't get the joke," and I was like, "David, I want you to say it again. Say Flowered Bridge. Let's say it's Cantonese. Say it again, but think English language." And he says it, and he goes, "Oh, you guys are horrible." So yeah, it's pretty funny. So like, he said like Klein's done some things where he had like the Flowered Bridge special, like almost like a pre-sale on a seminar. I don't know if he actually did a seminar that was called the Flowered Bridge seminar or something like that. But yeah, and he said like one of his tattoos he would love to have like and I tried to get one of my friends to do it, who's a fabulous artist that I used to work with at the hospital. But Mark always wanted to have like a little bridge with like with a God, I can't think of the name of the tree. Basically, you'd have a tree with the bridge with this tree over it with flowers, and it basically there's flowers on the bridge as a joke. And I was like, dude, that would be so awesome. So I tried to get my buddy to color this or to draw it out for a tattoo. And he's like, "Why this?" And so I explained it to him, and he's like, "Seriously?" And he never did it. So, yes. Cherry blossom. Yes. A cherry blossom tree with the flowers. I think it was up at Jim and Judy Clapp's Big 3 seminar. He brought a fart machine and put it out during the dinner table. So so I actually, and he may have done it another time, but I actually just heard that story from him. That was actually at cannot remember the guy's name. Can't remember his first name. Last name is Sargent. Is it Joe? No, that's wrong. Anyway, it was at that camp, and I think it was maybe the first time he was hosting the Big 3 with Dillman, and Dillman gave that fart machine to Klein and was messing around with him. And then Klein was like, "Give me the remote," and then just put it up at the table and saw that, and he didn't put it under any specific person's chair. It just happened to be Jim's Korn. And so when Jim sat up, when they were introducing people, he stood up, and Klein said he was trying to hit the button a couple times because it wouldn't go off. And then Jim stands up, and you just hear this rip, and then he sits, he gets halfway up and then sits back down. So yeah. And so I don't know if he did that again, but I know it was at Larry Sargent, maybe it was Larry. Yeah. So anyway, no, yeah, he just told me that story. And that will actually be in Korn's book. So that story. Let's see, because we had several contributors as well for Jim's book. Anyway, it's been an hour. I've got to get my stuff ready so I can get up to the school, and I've got this lightsaber camp happening at 10, which is in 1 hour and 55 minutes. So I will oh, quick question. Are you still working on that? I am. Like, we got proofs. So if you want to submit a story about Jim, either a funny story that involved him, or maybe like what is it called? Um, like a knockout that you saw or that he did on you that you thought was really impressive. Warren, write it up and send it to me, and I'll put it in the book. So, but it has to be within the next couple weeks, because we are most likely next week we're going to go to pre-sale, and then it'll most likely be go to print on the 1st of August. So if you can get it in the next week or so, I would love that. I'll see what I can do. Sweet. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, Bobby. Have a great day as well. See you. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. And next week it'll be at 7 a.m. as well, because I've got one more day of Bram camp, or of lightsaber camp. So see you then. Love to y'all. Be safe.